Hello my little storm clouds, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we're carrying on with my fantasy save file in Willow Creek, and today we're building a tavern/inn. I had so much fun building this because it was such a different shape and it was such a challenge as well. I found an image on Pinterest and I just had to do this shape because it was just so bizarre. Like, the roofing was so weird on it as well, and it had some of the round walls, and I just had to do it and it was so much fun. I'm not sure what this lot is going to be set as yet. I might do it as a rental since you can't like vacation rooms and have multiple people staying there. So I might set it as a rental, and like the bar area and where you eat will be communal, I think. And then this is like the main part of the build that I'm doing now, which will have the tavern on the lower half and there'll be rooms upstairs. And then to the left of this, I ended up doing a little small house, which is joined by a little bridge. And that is for the family that runs this. This is also just the exterior because this took me so long to do and I had to do it twice in a way. I got a little bit further than I am now, and then my PC just shut down and I didn't save. So there's that problem. I don't know what happened. I think my PC maybe overheated, so I give it a clean out and it seems like it's running okay now. But I don't like my videos to be too long, so that's why I'm deciding to do the interior as a separate video, and I will be working on it straight after this because I know when I say I'm going to do the interior, I never do. But because this is a part of a save file, I will be doing the interior straight after this one. It will be my next build. I don't know how long it'll take me because I'm still be doing like my shorts and stuff in between. Hopefully not too long. When I'm doing the interior as well, I might add a few more details to the outside if I feel like I've missed anything or I'd want to add anything else. So feel free to give suggestions because this video will go up before I do the interior. I also cut out a lot of footage because I was playing around with like the circle rooms and stuff, when you'll see shortly. And it was a little bit of a nightmare, and the roofing was also a nightmare because I wanted this to be 5 stories, but you can technically only have 4 stories in The Sims 4. So on that top story I used a half wall, and then I had to do the trick where you float a roof by building a building next to it really tall, deleting that building and then dragging the roof across, and the roof kept deleting if I was doing anything to do with room shapes. So hopefully I don't have to change any of the room shapes anymore, so the roof should stay there. I'm really hoping, because it was super annoying that it kept deleting. I also did create a cellar because I just thought that made sense for a tavern where you would hold all of the juice and the nectar. And I actually ended up using roofing to create cellar doors going down. Obviously you can't go through that, so I've done some I've done some ladders just around the side. And I got the idea from that from Little Red Riding Sim because she also has a save file. She's the one who inspired me to do this. I downloaded her save file and it's absolutely amazing. And I was looking in at a few of the builds, and there was one where it was Belle, and I can't remember Belle's dad's name. Is it Giuseppe? I can't remember. But they used a roof as a cellar door, so I just had to do this. So for this second build, I really wanted to do it on the floor, so it wasn't raised on a foundation, so we had a couple of different heights. But because I wanted it to be joined by a bridge going across to the main section, so the people who are working there, like they live in this section, they can just walk across to get into this building. Technically they can't because this round room, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it because there's not a lot of space. I might be able to do something, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll decide when it comes to the interior. But yeah, I ended up raising it up to the same height so I could easily make a bridge across. So you can see the roofing on the left side where it goes into that round room, slopes all the way down, and I just thought that was so cool on the image. I was like, I have to create something like that. And I've done this next to the blacksmith, so it's like the perfect lot because it was a good size but not overly too big. And the family that I have moved in is, we have an elderly couple and their young adult son. And I've set the young adult son to be like a musical genius, and he is going to be a bard. So I'll have a little stage in the tavern, and I just thought that's like a super fun idea. The little old couple are like super generous and friendly and social, so they're going to socialise with a lot of the patrons that come into the tavern. I made the husband a master maker, so he's going to be handling the drinks, and the wife, she is or wants to be a master chef. I will play around with all the settings and level up their stuff so they already have a storyline. They've been doing this for a while, since they're an elderly couple, so I will go ahead and do that before the save file goes up. In the back I had to add some stables. I wanted this to go under the house, but it kept deleting my roof because I wanted it at a different level. So I ended up doing it so it's not joined and it's just slightly away from that back wall. And I just went for like a wooden look. The roof technically isn't wooden, but what I went for looks wooden. I went for this, which is from Get Famous. I believe it is concrete, but I feel like it has a wooden look to it, and I wanted a fully wooden barn. There is only one little horse thing in there, so you can only have one horse in there at a time. But if you wanted to, you could extend it because there is room enough to do that. You just have to move a couple of the items that I put next to the stable to be able to have more horses in here if you wish. And I'll just briefly go over this again because I'll say it in every single one of these builds. So this is a fantasy save file, and to get the save file I will be uploading it to Patreon. You don't have to pay to get it, you can become a free member, and it won't be up yet. I'm gonna complete Willow Creek and then I'll be uploading the save file, and then I'll update it every time I've done a new world. If you want to become a paid member, this will be released a week earlier once it is complete. But like I said, it'll only be a week later. If you just want to get it for free, that is totally fine. I just want to give something to my paid members. And I will also be uploading these individually to the gallery once this goes free. So you will get it at the same time as everybody that gets it free. And it might take me a little bit of time because I have to upload these individually. But I wanted to make sure everybody gets a fair shot, because I know there's people on console that can't download a save file, or maybe you don't know how to download a save file. So you would just have to download these individually. At the end of each description, I will put what lot I've put it in if you want to match it exactly to what I have. I haven't gone in and done all the descriptions and stuff yet, but I will be doing that, and I'll be adding little storylines in those descriptions for the families as well. So you can see here I was trying to go with that bridge idea, but I was like, oh, I'm going to need some stairs going up, and I just did not like the look of it, so I ended up having to change that. In the end, I really love the way it looks, even though I did not want this on a foundation, just because I really wanted different levels, because I wasn't playing around with the terrain at all. I thought this sort of build is a little bit too much to play around with the terrain. I don't think I've done any terrain stuff in any of the builds that I've done yet for this save file, but I will be, especially when it comes to castles. There will be a lot more terrain based stuff. Yes, I will be doing castles. I will do a few different types. I think for this world I'll most probably go with more of a medieval style, because it suits the builds that I've got going on here. Whereas in some of the other worlds I really want to do like an elven one where it's a bit more rich and luxurious, like marble. Whereas it will be like a stone castle that's here. So there is two rather large lots in Willow Creek. One of them I think I'm going to do like a little town or a little village, and then the other one will be the castle. But if you have any other ideas for any of the other lots, especially for Willow Creek, what you think might suit this style, please let me know. I have ideas already wrote down, and you've already gave me some great ideas, and I've been writing those down too. But I'm happy to take more suggestions because I have a lot of lots to fill. Even if it's not for Willow Creek, you can let me know and I will eventually build in the other world. I do already have a couple of other builds in the other worlds, just because it's builds that I've done that work really well for this fantasy save file. Like I had my pirate ship, and I also have a couple of my fairy builds, as well as my stuff from Akatar. So I'm just adjusting all the room, adding dormers to give more room to the rooms that are going to be in here, since it is going to be an inn. I haven't put stairs or anything in yet, so I'm not sure how big these rooms are going to be in the end, or how many rooms I'm going to do, but that'll be a hurdle I'll hit when I come to it. I've only got one more build to do in this neighbourhood, which is just across from this, like in front of it. You can see I've got my blacksmiths there to the side, and then on the other side there is the three lots, two of them. One of them's a fortune tellers and one of them is my nectar makers, and like I said, the other one is blank. I'm not 100% sure what to do yet. I thought about doing more of like a little shop or a market, or maybe like a witch's shop. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll figure that out once the interior of this is done. I'm just adding a little section from the round room here just to again create some more interesting shapes, and this was in the original build on Pinterest as well, and I really like the look of it. I also like the fact that the roofing was different on this top portion. I was having trouble with the round rooms, they're an absolute nightmare. I believe you can still put a door on there even if it's like a little bit skew-if, and it's inside, so I was like, it's totally fine. And my roof here has disappeared again on that top spire, but I do go back in and add it in several more times, off camera, on camera. It's an absolute nightmare. I'm hoping it stays there for you. If you don't touch it in build mode, I feel like you should be fine. If you adjust rooms, sometimes it will delete it. When I added the basement, it deleted it, even though it's nowhere near the basement. It's just a little bit of a nightmare. I also tried to make this as playable as possible, so I put items down, and you know sometimes you'll put them down high and you'll raise them up, but then when you go into the room underneath, that will be floating in the air. I made sure everything was on the correct level, so if you page down, you can still see everything just fine and there's nothing floating in the way. I didn't really check this with my other builds, but none of them are this big, so I don't think it had mattered too much with those builds, whereas this one I was like, that's not going to be fun for somebody to play in if they want to play in here. So I did use tool mod to size up those archways, and I fit them between these just to give a bit more of an interesting shape, because I was like, it looks really boring with just the normal spandrels and columns, so this just adds some more shape to it. I added a lot of windows in off camera because I didn't realise I was not recording, but I went for the ones with the shutters on, these ones here, for most of the windows. And then on certain parts I went for ones that have like a brick line around them, since there is brick on that bottom half. On it, I think it's the ones on the round room I end up changing. I wanted to create some interesting paths. I don't like it when they look really straight. I wanted it to look organic, so I use it on quite a soft brush, and I was trying to get them to go around from the areas that are used, so to the stables, to the secondary house. I also end up putting a well in. I did put it to one side and then I changed my mind and put it on the other side, so it does change sides, and I end up putting a little pond in that area instead, so I had to move the path around the edge of the pond. Here's what I mean. Here I'm going to put a well down. I put it down that side, then I move it to the left, and then I move it back to the right later on. I don't know if I do that on camera or not, and yeah, I end up putting a little pond in this area on the left. I think I did that off camera because I was just trying to figure stuff out, and I was like fingers crossing that my PC wouldn't turn itself off. So I added just a couple of trees around the back. I know trees can be annoying when playing. These are the ones from debug, so when you zoom in they do disappear, which I think they're the best ones to use when you're using larger trees. And I added this debug wall from Cottage Living because I didn't want a really straight edge. I wanted that nice curve, and I like the little divots that go down with the broken bits of wall. So I placed these all the way around the build. I ended up doing a little chicken hut area, and I added some, I think I went for the sheep and not, well, the lambs and not the goats. Currently everything in the lot is off the grid. I'm going to try and keep it that way. I know sometimes there's like one item that I like the look of that might look like it would work, but it's not off the grid. But currently, because I've just done the outside, it is all off the grid. For the last portion, I'm just terrain painting everything. I've added some plants and stuff around. I've added rabbits, and I added my fireflies as always. There's my little cellar, which I did off camera. And that is pretty much it for this build. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!